look, just for a second out of your busy day, just look and marvel at the person in front of you, Mr. Showtime. I'm not talking about the dad, Panther, variety streamer, content creator, master of none. Not right now. I'm talking about me, damn it. The whole damn show, okay? The yard has been cut. The cars have been washed. The kids and the wife have been put to bed, taking a nap, and it's my time. Now, as I make my way down to the ring, as I make my way for a shot at the gold, right here, I need some enforcers. But before I explain the enforcers, before I talk about the review that we're going to do on a WWE documentary that you can see on the WWE Vault on YouTube, I just want to say, I want to kind of give a hint at it, what it could be. But before I get in that, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and follow for more. And if you want to get your WWE gear on, because I need to get my gear up, check in the description. We have a link. Go ahead and check that link out. And I'm telling you, you're gonna find some stuff in there, whether it's on the clearance rack or it's new, or you trying to get something that nobody's ever seen before, some autograph. Go ahead and check. You also have the WWE that'll be in Atlanta. It'll be in Georgia. It only comes around in Georgia, but it'll be in Georgia. Go find some tickets for some live events. Now, with that being said, let me give you the hint and see if you know what I'm talking about. See if you know what Mr. Showtime is putting down, because I am the whole freaking show. Now, 4 letters, 1 word. Damn. That's right. If you think about the Usos, the future Hall of Famers, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about current Hall of Famers. I'm talking about Ron Simmons and Mr. Bradshaw. I'm talking about APA. They're going to go ahead and accompany me to the ring. I need some enforcers who are going to go ahead and put that work in. And they're going to put that work in. Now, for this review, I'm going to tell you my highs and lows. I'm going to go ahead and rate it, and that's how we're going to do it. So let me go with my lows on this. But before I dip into my lows, I just want to say this is not the best of APA. That was on WWE Network 2021, before we lost the WWE Network. I know some international spots had it, but no one has it, and they're switching some stuff up, probably with Netflix or something like that. And actually, I think in the spring of next year, live events are in the air from Peacock Network, but we're trying to figure all that out. Now, the best of, I would have loved to be attached some of those parts out and put on this. I'll explain it by going into my first low. First low, it was too short. This was way too short to talk about these 2 legends, with a running time at about 40 minutes is what this is. And if you check the review that I did on Evolution, it makes sense with Evolution. Again, you have all that goal, all those future at the time, point blank right now, Hall of Famers in that faction, I understand, and that could have been a little longer. Ooh, I'm gonna keep my hat on this time. This I felt was a little shorter, and they could have added some stuff. Some of the stuff they could have added in here for my notes was stats. I'm always going to say that. Check out the videos you did on Dark Side of the Rings, and things like that. I feel like documentaries should just, especially with the WWE or anyone wrestling or sports, I feel like it should always have the stats. Put it right there. Sit there and say, as of this date, this is how many matches. Here's the countries they've been to, the goals they've won, and they're contributing factors to professional wrestling or indie wrestling, respectfully. Like I said before, the best of would have worked in this if I would have been able to see maybe 3 or 5 matches, sprinkle that in there, whether you do a match and you talk about how important that match was to their faction, their careers. And the reason why I would say that is, if you remember, the New Day, the New Day, it was really important because, or at least matches and certain things they were able to do, was very important and change whether or not this was going to be a faction that we would be talking about as one of the top tag team factions, or just a squash match or two away from never ever really mentioning the New Day. And it simply was, there was key moments where there was matches or promotions where Woods and the rest of them with Vince McMahon was like, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is the angle we're going to go, and let us steer this ship until, whatever happens. And it obviously worked out for them. I think that would have been something that's cool. So anyways, let's go into the plus about it. The plus was about the, it was memory lane. For instance, when I played WWE games, WWF games, whatever, and I created my characters, there was two moves I always had in my arsenal. I still have it to this day. To this day, one is the Dominator. It is a crazy move, grabbing somebody midsection and slamming them down like a fucking spade that you cutting, and you know you got books and you and your partner walking out on top. Um, that was a hell of a move, and I have that in there. And then the clothesline from hell. I mean, the way that clothesline felt, my goodness, Steph, you had to sell that motherfucking move. Those two moves. So go down memory lane on that. You also had APA with the t-shirts. I don't have any t-shirts right now. I got to get some of those t-shirts, but the door, remember it was the door frame, but there was no office. And so you had people that would go around and watching their reaction of whether they knocked on the door or they didn't. Like I remember The Rock one time went over there and they're like, come on, man. Come on. The Rock went, my bad, my bad. And knocked on the door. Be some people pissed because the door wasn't respected. The office wasn't. They would be with beer, cigar, poker. And it just, even though I was younger, it just felt like the cool room to be in, like sitting in the back of the bus. It was cool. So going down memory lane and seeing that, damn, you still see it on social media. You know, you see a little PYT, you know what I'm saying? And in the comments, you may see a young whippersnapper say, damn. And you just hear it and say it in Farouk's thing. Constantly in my head, I say things like, I'm a wrestling god. I'm a wrestling god. And JBL, and going back to creating characters in video games or whatnot, EFED or whatnot, with the power that those two individuals had in the ring is how I try to, go with Mr. Showtime's makeup. And on the mic, it's a mixture of, Shawn Michaels and JBL and a little bit of the Million Dollar Man, just to name a few, where it's that hill that you just can't stand. And I enjoy playing that hill. That's just one of the many hats that I like to wear. Now, the other thing I enjoyed about this was the brotherhood. JBL goes into detail about how his relationship with Ron Simmons was a brotherhood and what he always wanted and needed. A lot of moments where he's holding back tears or even giving you tears, showing the importance of not just this faction in front of the screen, but behind screens, touring the US, touring the world. And I just thought that was really cool to see. The story of these two individuals, watching Farouk with the gimmick that he was given early on and what he did with that, him winning gold, a historic gold that people don't talk about enough. Him basically taking the Rock, like if you don't get that faction nation, a domination, and you get Maivia who comes over and he's just not being liked, this gimmick's just not working, and he gets put in that situation where he shines as that heel that becomes a baby face and flip flop final boss. Very crucial, and I wish they went in a little bit more detail in it. And then JBL, you had that moment on SmackDown where JBL, or we think they're both getting fired. In reality, it's Farouk that's getting fired, and doesn't have the same intensity as the Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, barbershop right through the window. No, but it, to me at the time, it was that moment because we knew them for that. Even when they were tag teaming and basically being the enforcer with Viscera, Minion, or Undertaker, and the rest of them are those dark storylines with Stephanie and Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? I'm trying to think what else. What else? Oh, the fact about tag teams, right? I think we need more of these because I don't think we realize how important tag teams are, the division, whether men or women, but also driving the narrative of stories, growth for the wrestler, gimmicks, figuring things out. So a lot of times they do get paired in a tag team, and it's their time to branch out and do their own thing. It's their time to be in the Jackson Five and then be lead and go ahead and be the king of pop. That's just what it is. I think the only thing that towards the end is not a bad thing. These are all good things. It made me think, man, Farouk, who still looks good right now, having him pop up at a live event when he has an opportunity to cut the promo where, like, I opened it up where it's like four left, one, and you just, and then cut to him. The crowd is gonna know what he's gonna say, new or old, and you just hold that for a moment. You let some people say "damn," and they're just wrong, and then he just "damn," and then and he looks over and he just like Jay looks over too, and just like Yee, and I feel like that would be a crazy thing. So let's go ahead and rate this. Now here we like to rate from a 0 to a 5, 5 being excellent And then, 0 obviously is horrible. That's just what it is. And you got those numbers in between. Put in the comments what you rate this. Now, for the APA out of the vault that they had, I'm going to go ahead and rate this a 4. I enjoyed it. I wish it was a little longer. We went into some of the negatives I had, but there were more positives. And I can 100% recommend you checking this out. Now, hit the subscribe button, like, and follow for more, but also check out the WWE shop we have in the description. Go ahead and buy you something, or maybe you want to buy something for somebody else as a gift. You could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. Like I always say, hit my music. And before we hit my music, check out some of these other videos that we have. Until next time, kalika-lika-lao.
Said I'ma get into it first. Until they put me in the dirt. Said I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it.